After all the allegations thrown at the Davis family by Polo, they have finally come out with a response. Not necessarily clearing every single accusation, but setting the record straight on what matters most. The drama has been off the charts. Lies about footage, hush money allegations, claims about who started the movement, accusations about missing funds. It's been a firestorm. And in the middle of it all, one person has been completely forgotten. Tyrone Davis Jr. We only care about one thing: justice for Dro. Every single day we spend fighting each other is a day the truth stays buried. So tonight, Natasha and Natalie Davis sat down with activist Chanae Jackson to respond. Before we start, this is True Crime Unravelled. To everyone watching on YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok, we see you. We read every comment. Keep them coming. And to our super thanks gifters, you are the reason we can keep digging. Thank you. Now, let's hear what the family had to say. Chanae Jackson is not new to this. She's an activist with a track record. She's taken on sheriffs, school boards, and entire systems. When she got involved in this case, she did what she always does. She went straight to law enforcement. And here's what she claimed she found out. What was conveyed to me is that they were giving information to Mom, and Mom was not appropriately sharing the information with Dad's side of the family. The police told Channy they were sharing information with Rena Demps, Tyrone's mother. But that information wasn't making it to the Davis family. So Channy's response? Close the communication gap. Make sure both parents have access. Stop giving law enforcement an excuse to withhold information. She also discovered something troubling. There were things GPD had shared with Rena that the Davis family never knew about. Things that could have changed the trajectory of this case. So that's the reason that we did a records request. When they provide the records, I also want the audit trail so you can't get rid of anything. Records, paper trails, accountability. That's how you fight a system that's designed to wait you out. A lot of people panicked when the medical examiner ruled Dro's death an accident. They thought the case was closed. Game over. Channy cleared that up. Just because they ruled the case closed at this moment does not mean that it cannot be reopened. Cases are reopened all the time. She explained that by closing the case, it actually helps the family get a death certificate. And with that death certificate, they can now do things they couldn't do before. Like move forward with legal action regarding the money that was moved from Dro's account after he was brain dead. Charges that are filed about money being moved past the time that he passed away can actually be navigated. She also broke down the difference between cause of death and manner of death. One is determined by the medical examiner, the other by law enforcement. And right now, the family is challenging both. We're now in the phase of how does law enforcement determine that this can be accidental when all of the information that the family has shared does not actually support that? Good question. People have been asking, why haven't they been back to Gainesville? Why wait until March 28th? Channy explained the strategy. We have an in-person meeting scheduled with law enforcement. The reason that the boots on the ground protest is scheduled on the 28th is because it is after we meet with GPD to see what it is that they say. And it's after we would have gotten the records. She made a valid point. Why show up blind? Why protest without information? It doesn't make sense to do anything and go and be flying blind, and we don't even know what the hell we're talking about. She also addressed the criticism about missing a recent city commission meeting. It was a special meeting related to school closures. To travel from South Florida to here for a meeting that's totally unrelated makes absolutely no sense. Strategy matters. Showing up just to show up isn't boots on the ground. It's performance. This has been one of the biggest questions. People have been screaming, get a lawyer. Why a PI? Channy broke it down. A lawyer could absolutely take this case, but they would not be doing this family a service. She consulted with a top wrongful death attorney in Florida, a black woman from Gainesville who knows the system. And here's what she was told. If they file a wrongful death suit against Lulu, what's the point if Lulu doesn't have money to pay damages? The family would spend thousands and still never get answers. If she does not answer or respond, they could rule in the family's favor. It can go to a default and you still never get the answers. A lawyer would put the family on retainer for about $300,000 up front, billing at $1,000 an hour. And part of that retainer paying for a PI anyway. It does not make sense to secure a lawyer at this time when you can secure the PI first. Let the PI utilize the money to gather information and then come to the lawyer on the back end. She also explained what a PI can do that regular people can't. A PI has access to certain systems that we don't have access to. They have credentials that we don't have. Geofencing, GPS locators, the black box in the car, PIs can access that. We can't. So the strategy is simple. Gather the evidence first, then bring it to a lawyer. That's how you build a case that sticks. Somebody reached out today and said, I guess the family's business is supposed to be aired out. Families are chaotic. Period. I don't know a black family that is perfect. There is no such thing. She's right. Every family has dysfunction. Every family has drama. But that doesn't mean they don't deserve justice. My family is dysfunctional like anybody else. But you ain't gonna fuck with them. And that's the point. Then she dropped a truth bomb about what law enforcement does. This is typically what they do. They wait us out so we can lose the plot. They wait us out. They don't have to be held accountable. She listed case after case where GPD messed up. Kurt Rowe, Kira Thomas, her own cousin David, black victims, no justice, cases mishandled, evidence lost. If we don't stand and become consistent and show up for each other, it'll be somebody else. This isn't just about Dro. It's about a pattern, a system that fails black families over and over again. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Channy addressed Polo. She hit on the claim that Polo gave the Davis family traction. She said that's a lie. Before Polo ever got involved, it was viral for all of us. Auntie Tasha's first video had hundreds of thousands of views. Millions. She questioned the pattern. He's the only Enga I know that every few months he's messy as hell. He got more energy than a messy woman. And she called out the people carrying the drama. We're not giving any more room for that. In this moment, you're here because you understand the bigger picture. You're here because you want to right the injustice.
Okay. So where we are, I'll start where I actually came in, and I just want to center it before I get into the point. I'm gonna try to stay calm because everybody be coming for me because I start real calm before I start cussing people out. So I want to try not to do that. So that's why I scheduled this live in this particular way.
Okay.
When I actually had conversations with the actual family, it was literally right around the same time that they stated that they were closing out the investigation and stating that it was actually accidental. When I spoke with the family, as I stated, and a lot of people saw a post that I actually put up to the family, giving them things that I would do in ways that you would actually navigate. So matter of fact, before I get there, let me back up. So let me qualify myself before I get to the point and the things that I actually suggested. So for those of y'all who don't know, the way I became the activist was literally in 2018. My oldest son got snatched out of my car in less than 3 minutes at gunpoint by an Alachua County Sheriff's officer. The sheriff literally attempted to bully me in the particular process, put up a Facebook post with a bunch of coded language. Whoever ran the Facebook page of the sheriff's office, they literally incited a racist dog whistle. Whoever called us out of our names, called me racist stuff, they literally was inciting them. I went and met with the sheriff. I had questions. She made excuses. I asked her, why did she put up the post? She said she had a point to prove. I told her I didn't have a platform till you gave me one. Now I got a platform. I'm going to use it. Absolutely. Anybody that knows me knows I took her to war.
Absolutely.
14 years. I won. She's out of there. We got Chloe elected. From there, we know I took the school board on as it related when they tried to get rid of buses for our kids over in East Gainesville because they wanted the kids, the IB students, to be able to get the buses. We know that we got the K9 unit shut down when Terrell Bradley was bitten by it, and then they started stop organizing around it. We know we got free jail calls in our jails. We know we advocated and got all of the fees for people put into the jail stop. Like literally the list goes on and on. We know that even when it came to a young man that was actually beaten by a guard in the jail, while everybody else was out letting the police show up to protest, acting like they was the damn friend, we was at the jail actually protesting people being beat up. We raised money for Devontae Gardner, who was beat in the jail or who was actually killed at famous beating.
Oh, wow.
We advocated around Erica Thomas, who had her baby that died in the jail. Like, the list of what I do actually goes on.
That's right.
A lot of the things that I do on the street, and we know I shut down streets. So we have had marches, ban off our bodies when they overturned Roe versus Wade with over 3,000 people. We did March for Our Lives. We had over 1,500 people. Literally, if there's somebody who's boots on the ground, I am absolutely
boots on the ground.
We know this. We know that when we took over the city commission meeting, and I made all the police go down to the basement so that the people can actually sit in there when it came to that. And I want to qualify these things as I'm sitting watching people scroll down my timeline talking about what people should do, and they don't know a damn thing. Those are the things that I've done locally. I want to be clear. I travel this state. There are 32 counties that I have staff in that I organize in the exact same way. And I travel the entire country in order to teach other people how to organize our particular communities. And everybody knows this. In addition to that, I still go to meetings with families. And, I've stopped expulsions from happening. We've helped get rid of superintendents. So if there's power to be moved, there's power to be moved. Our previous chief of police, we helped to get Lonnie out of there because that's how serious this is. Mm-hmm. I want to name these things because there's a process that actually happens. So getting up on a live video, thinking that you're proving a point and not actually moving power with the people that counts means absolutely nothing to nobody. And I want to state that. So when I got with this family, I needed to understand where were things, what was actually shared with law enforcement. When I spoke to members of law enforcement, because for me, I need to go straight to the Chief Moyer and to each captain and also to the lieutenant of GPD is who I sent my email to, because I needed to understand what was happening and why this family wasn't getting what they needed. And what was conveyed to me is, and this is what law enforcement tried to state, is that they were giving information to mom and mom was not appropriately sharing the information with the dad's side of the family. So my statement to them is, well, he has both parents that are fully involved. So we need to close up the communication gap so we can get rid of that excuse. There are many things that the family shared with me that GPD is claiming that they don't know. Okay, so that's the reason that we did a records request. And so what we're doing is also waiting. I sent a notice to ensure that they preserve records. When they provide the records, I also want the audit trail. So therefore you can't get rid of anything. And I've sent a very extensive record request that I actually copied the family in. What they stated to us is that the detective who was working on the case, they're waiting for him to continue to compile all of that information. I need people to understand that just because they ruled the case closed at this moment does not mean that it cannot be reopened. Cases are reopened all the time. By closing the case, it helps the family to get a death certificate so they can now do the things that are needed as it relates to his estate. Things can actually go into probate. Charges that are filed about money being moved past the time that he passed away can actually be navigated. So there's another part of that process that can now be moving through the court system now that that part is done. There are two things that I know that they've described to you all. There's a cause of death and there's a manner of death. One, the medical examiner determines, and the other, law enforcement determines. So we're now in the phase of how does law enforcement determine that this can be accidental when all of the information that the family has shared with me does not actually support that. So that's where we are. So where we are is our next phase is now as a family and with myself, we have an in-person meeting that is scheduled with law enforcement. The reason that the boots on the ground protest march is scheduled on the 28th because it is after we meet with GPD to see what it is that they state and lay it all out. And it's after we would have gotten the records and been able to navigate to actually see what is actually in there. It does not make sense to do anything and go and actually be flying blind and we don't even know what the hell we're talking about. It doesn't make sense to make assumptions. So I want people to understand that. I've also seen posts stating that if people wanted to be boots on the ground, they would have come to the commission meeting. So I want to help people to understand organizational charts and how things work. The chief of police is the chief of police. The chief of police answers to the city manager. They don't answer to the city commission directly. So while there is some pressure that can be applied, if there's a conversation to be had, it would be with the city manager. But we're not to that phase yet. Additionally, while there was a city commission meeting today, it was a special meeting with our city commission and our Alachua County Commission related specifically to school closures. So to travel from South Florida to here for a meeting that's totally unrelated makes absolutely no sense. For those of all, we're talking about our commission meetings. Our city commission meetings are every first and third Thursday at 1 p.m. And I want to make sure that I clarify that if you're going to tell somebody to show up in my city that I'm a part of and got my hands in everything, make sure you know what it is that you're actually talking about. Also, I don't want people to waste their time. So the reason that we've coordinated the meeting at the time is so when this family takes their time, effort, energy, and gas money to come here, they're not coming here for no reason. They've made multiple trips here and not gotten answers. So I prefer that we do things in order and in priority. And just because it's been done behind the scenes does not mean it's not done. I'm not doing this in order to be known. We are doing this because we understand that something is not right. And the answers that need to be gotten, we have not gotten there because everybody is sitting on the sidelines speculating instead of putting forth the effort that is needed in order to get the appropriate answers. I want to move on to the next part of this that is frustrating because I've seen many people say, oh, well, they should just go hire a lawyer. Oh, well, that's what they should do. Well, oh, I don't see why they went and got a PI. So I want to explain that to you. So there are lawyers who could absolutely take this particular case, but they would not be doing this family a service. So what I do in my particular work is I reach out to attorneys who are trustworthy, who want to be honest and upfront and not just take a particular person's money. And with these wrongful death suits, I talk to an excellent lawyer who is one of the best in the state of Florida as it relates to wrongful death, who happens to be a Black woman who is from Gainesville and who's serious about our people in our community. And she laid it out because on the line, she could absolutely take the case, and many attorneys are. When wrongful death attorneys look at taking these cases, they're looking at what damages they can actually get. If Lulu is the person that we're filing the wrongful death suit against and she don't have a lot of money, what would be the purpose? As I explained to her, at least the answers that we're trying to get can be presented in that particular case. And what she stated is that you can do all of that. You can file the case. If she does not answer or respond, which she cannot, they could rule in this family's favor. It can go to a default and it just goes to the credit bureau or whatever, and you still never get the answers and you will have wasted money. She was also very clear what a lawyer would do if they took the case was put the family on retainer, and the retainer will probably be about $300,000 up front, with them billing at $1,000 an hour. And as a part of billing at that $1,000 per hour is when they would pay for the PI. So it does not make sense to secure a lawyer at this time when you can secure the PI first, let the PI utilize all of the money that is gathered in order to gather the information and then come to the lawyer actually on the back end. And so like she stated, they can easily go find another attorney that will be just fine with taking their money. But in her good conscience, it would not make sense. And then the family still won't get what it is that they're actually seeking. So I hope this helps to explain to people why this is. I also saw banter about other people stating that other people, because they got on live and stated they knew this and they pieced this together, is why they should be compensated. So even myself, and I'm good at what I do, I'm not asking to be compensated. The reason that I want them to go and get a certified PI is because a PI has access to certain systems that we don't have access to. They have certain credentials that we actually don't have. So there is information that they can get, that law enforcement can get, that we cannot get. So if I talk about geofencing, which the layman's person does not know what that actually is, we can utilize phone numbers and track the locations of all of his phones when the family keeps saying there are other phones that other people don't know where they are. When we're talking about GPS locators, a lot of people are even talking about when the car traveled. It's just, for example, when somebody gets in a car accident and we're trying to figure out how do we know that a person was going 100, it is because there's a black box in the car which is actually the system that goes in there that some PIs have access to that us as lay people actually don't have access to. And that's frustrating for me as a person who's wrapped and involved in this, that so many people sell you all a line and everybody is hoorah, 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 and jumping on a bandwagon because you all actually don't know how things actually work. And when things is not moving as fast as you would like it to move, oh, there must be something wrong, and you automatically turn around and put it back on the family. I'm frustrated because I had somebody to reach out today and stated that I guess the family's business is supposed to be aired out. Y'all know me. I'm a straight shooter. Families are chaotic, period. I don't care. I don't care who didn't get along. I don't care what happened. I cut them off. I don't know a black family that is perfect. There is no such thing. I don't give a damn. I just don't. And I want to be very clear. And all do, then you're not true to self. And I want to state that. But I tell you this, my family is dysfunctional like anybody else, but you ain't gonna fuck with them. And that's the point that I need all of us to know and understand. We might go through whatever, but you ain't gonna fuck with them. And that's how we all are. And we all know this. So how is it that we forget this when it's somebody else's family? How do we forget how difficult it is and how people are grieving in these particular things when we all just want to have something to talk about and something to be relevant? I've been extremely quiet. And if you notice, the family has not mentioned me because I don't care like that. And people know that. We're taking the time now because y'all lost the plot. And we can't afford to lose the plot. And I want to be clear with you, and not just in this case, but in every case, this is typically what law enforcement does. They wait us out so we can lose the plot. They wait us out so they don't have to be held accountable. Most cases and scenarios take years to navigate. And what happens is people get tired. People go and they start living life. They go do other things, and you never get the answers and the things that you deserve. And the issue for me is it's not just about Tyrone. It is about, with GPD, I can tell you the number of cases that were traffic or accident related where it was a black victim that was involved that was not investigated properly. And even if there was any justice at all, it was so minimal. Let's talk about Kurt Rowe and the person that killed him in a car accident only got 4 years because GPD fucked up. Let's talk about Kiri Thomas's 16-year-old getting off the school bus and got zero justice because GPD did not investigate it properly. Like, I literally can go on and on about the number of cases. Let's talk about my cousin David that literally got hit on University Avenue and no justice took place because GPD didn't properly investigate. So months down the road, as we're trying to go back and do things, so much valuable and vital evidence was lost. Let's talk about the two girls. Months after David got hit, the same thing happened, and they went to the hospital, and those girls were severely injured and gave them jaywalking tickets. And so the deal is, it's bigger than one person. So when y'all lose the plot and how this man lost his life, if we don't stand and become consistent and show up for each other, it'll be somebody else. It so happens that this family is traveling from Broward, but literally this happens in our community all the time. That's why none of us are surprised. That's why so many of you all are following it, because it's so familiar. And so what I'm asking y'all to do is stay tuned in. Pay attention. Listen to what it is. Before they gave the last few updates, they made sure to verify that the information was correct before sharing it with you. Stop letting outside people come in and tell you what's right or what's wrong because they don't know. So they're not in the email communications that I have in writing because I'm the receipt queen. They don't know what the records request is that I sent because they're not a part of that. They don't know when the meeting actually is. And I haven't stated that, and we've not shared it. You will know once the family gets here. The thing that you know is the boots on the ground and the action that's going to take place on the 28th, because it takes all of us. And literally, the reason that we want you all there is to bring the attention to it so other people can say, hey, I remember on that day this or that happened. Think about, because these people have been consistent, they were able to find other witnesses. They were able to talk to other people to know that they've not been in an interview. That's what this literally is about. So many things happen to us in our community because we lose the plot. And we lose the plot because so many people want to be I don't even know. So many people want to be known. This Facebook shit, this social media shit, it's too much. It's addictive to so many people that we're losing so much traction. And then once it's not popular anymore, everybody exits. That's not me. And y'all know that I've been in this game for 10 years consistently. And I literally left from an event that I had to do trying to save our schools from being closed to sit down and to literally see that this is happening. I don't know what it is. I probably do, but we're not going there. I asked them, and mind you, it's so much going on that they didn't necessarily want to get on here, but I wanted to utilize this as an opportunity to educate people, as an opportunity to recenter and get back to where it is, as an opportunity to let y'all know that's noise. I don't give a damn what somebody stated they was outing, whatever was out. And I didn't watch the video, and I'm keeping it a buck with you. I don't care. You can look and say, if it did happen, that's my uncle over there. That's my cousin right there. That's my this, because that's us. Let's be real about this. We real people. Like, let's just keep it G. The lack of communication is there's a mom and a dad on both sides. The purpose of this is to close in the gaps. I can't finger point and say, well, mama, you didn't get the information to dad, and dad, you get the information to mama. I also know that sometimes they talk above people on purpose. So instead of me pointing fingers at anybody, let's get it all together. Let me figure out what people know and then take it from there. So if y'all know me, I'm relentless as fuck, but I don't start there. The way that we're starting is we're going to sit down to the table, look at what they actually have, what they actually went by, and we're going to actually take it from there. This whole notion. What we're going to go by is the certified PI is who they hired because they have access to tools that all of us don't have. What we're going to do is follow this process. There are no shortcuts. I want to be clear. This is not the time or the space in order to hire the attorney. It's not beneficial for the family. It is not beneficial for the cause at this particular moment. I want to center. Ain't nobody playing with any money that actually has been given. It has been utilized for what it's supposed to be utilized for. I saw another post where they said, well, they don't need no money. They ask y'all for y'all money. My deal is this. If we're sitting back and we watching, if we got so much to say, we should have help to give. White people stand in the paint for each other for far less. We should be glad to give 25, 50, 100, or whatever it is for justice because it's bigger than just this family. Stop letting people talk you out of showing up for us and our people. Stop it. Stop letting people justify, well, that's why I want to give my money. It's all bullshit. And I want to state that to you. My final point is, gauge your source. The fact that I'm seeing the same people being bullshit every few months, come on now. The fact that it's the same people and bullshit every few months with different people, I just want to be clear about who the common denominator is. I want to be clear, and I want to keep that a buck. I want to open it up if Natalie or Miss Natasha actually want to have anything to say, and then I just want to look at any of the comments in case we need to address any while we are on here.
Natalie addressed transparency. We chose to open our grief up to the world because we know the importance of awareness. But with transparency comes responsibility. This is an investigation that we want to continue. We want a conviction. What we release affects how this case is handled. She also addressed the money. We understand when you're putting your money up, you want to know what's going on. That's why we did that live last weekend. We were very open, very transparent. And then she said something that cut deep. Y'all don't know T2. Y'all know Stepdaddy Dro, the social media influencer. Y'all don't know the boy who loved four-wheelers, who my granddaddy had to kick his behind because he wanted to work instead of going to school. We opened up to the world because you needed to know him as a person. His kids were in her living room yesterday. They deserve to know what happened to their daddy. Right now we're telling them we got them forever. We can't answer any questions. So while we're sitting around trying to explain to the world, we got to give his kids answers and we ain't got none for them. Natasha closed it out. We never laughed in nobody's face. We're not here to argue. We're not kissing no booty. This movement was placed in us from the moment the family said, Tasha, let them know we want to know what happened.
Um, I'm reading the comments. There's a lot happening over there, which neither here nor there. It is what it is. Um, my only comment is that, and I've stated this before, we as a family chose to open our grief and our heartache up to the world. We chose to bring the world in not because it was beneficial to us, but because we know the importance of awareness. We know the importance of numbers, and we know what it means to truly make a difference when you're standing together. So, for that reason, our family chose to open a lot of things up to the world. And as a result of that, we have tried to maintain transparency to a certain extent. But what I need for people to understand is with transparency comes responsibility. And despite our desire to include the world in as much as possible, we must also remain mindful that this is an investigation that we want to continue. We want a conviction as a result of this. So, what we release all affects how this case is and will be handled moving forward. So, yes, we try to be transparent. Yes, we try to give you guys information. Yes, we try to provide updates, especially when it comes to the money, because we understand when you putting your money up for something, you want to know what's going on. And that's the reason we did that live last weekend, which we thought was a really great live. We were really excited as a family to share that information with you guys. We felt like we were very open, we were very transparent. We thank the people who had publicly and not publicly helped us, because there are people who have been behind the scenes, just like Miss Chanae, and they've been helping our family to navigate this process. But I want you guys to understand this is not an easy process. This is not something that we do like a skip and a hop in the park. This is something that really takes work. And when you're saying boots on the ground, understand that boots on the ground don't always mean I'm in your face. Boots on the ground mean I'm putting in work. So just because you have information doesn't mean you're putting in work, because a lot of people have a lot of information that's not accurate, and a lot of people have not a lot of information that's not necessarily beneficial. So understand that we are mindful of what we give, we are mindful of what we deliver. um I wish we would have been a little more mindful at this point, just because of how things have taken a turn. But us opening ourselves up to the world is because for us the world needed to know Dro. And I ain't even gonna say Dro. The world needed to know T2, because the world knew Dro. They knew morning motivation with Dro. They knew social media influencer. They knew YouTube channel Stepdaddy Dro. They knew him. Y'all don't know T2. Y'all don't know the guy that loved four wheelers and dirt bikes as a kid. Y'all don't know the boy who my granddaddy had to kick his behind because he wanted to work instead of going to school. Y'all don't know the boy who was at our house harassing us every day because he thought he was our daddy and not our big cousin. Y'all don't know him. Y'all know Stepdaddy Dro, social influencer. We know him as a person, and we opened up to the world because you guys needed to know him as a person. Because what happened to him, like his dad keeps saying, he didn't deserve that. He was better than that. And he would have never done that to anybody, not even an enemy. He wouldn't have done that. And that's why we're doing what we're doing. That's why we're standing how we're standing. And we're not beefing with nobody. Because the only thing that mattered to us has been and still is justice for Dro. His kids who sat in my living room yesterday deserve to know what happened to their daddy. They deserve for us to be able to say, this is what occurred. This is why your daddy not here, but we got y'all forever. Right now, we telling them we got them forever, but we can't answer their questions. So while we're sitting around trying to explain to the world and answer the world's questions and give the world answers, like they're in the comments saying, give Polo his flowers, we did that. We did that, but it wasn't enough. But while y'all want us to give the world answers, we got to give his kids answers, and we ain't got none for them. So that's what we standing on.
All right. Okay. Natalie, you done?
Yes.
All right. Well, as Natalie just put it, T2 is royalty to this family. Anybody knew T2, went to school with T2? T2 drove my car, my daddy Hummer, my daddy Mercedes. He was spoiled rotten. He dressed GQ all his life from a young man. He had the best cars. He was able to do the things anybody else did, and he did it all from the muscle off work. I also want to say, in spite of what anybody feel, the most important part of me bringing this to social media, because we felt we was robbed of the truth from the Davis family, and everybody want to know what happened. They see this guy face all over Facebook, everybody page, social media. What happened to Dro? Those in the social world that know him as a content creator, those who met the social world that knows him from the truck stop, from driving trucks, from being known to helping people. From a young boy, he had an old soul, ministering, encouraging, hype you up. He's a Leo. He's a drawer to people. People draw to him. That's the gift he had on him. And I say that to say this, because regardless of what your family background or anyone in your family go through, you're supposed to get answers and find out what's going on with your family and not accept anything. When I opened it up, guess what? It was just me and the Davis family going on live to open up to the world. We want to know what happened to my nephew. We want answers and we want the truth. That's all we ask for. We entitled to that. Now, from that moment, I decided to have a candlelight. I didn't know nobody, no content creator, no blogger. To this day, I never stepped to no content creator, no blogger, and asked nobody to come aboard. The way I see it, if they decided not to get on board or not, the Davis family got to find justice for Dro regardless. And it's not to say we have some beautiful, loving people that came on board and we welcome them with open arms. I'm saying that to say this movement has to take place for our bloodline. This movement was placed in us from the moment the family said, okay, Tasha, let them know. We want to know what happened. Let them know the lies that we were given. Me not only thinking it's going from Broward County and right there in front of my family yard. That's it. I didn't know this was going to go all over the world from one simple post that touched somebody to get on board for the #1 issue, movement for Dro. Before that live, nobody outside of that, ain't too many know who Dro was. So it opened up the doors. This man lost his life for treating a girlfriend to a Christmas vacation that ended up with him on the side of the road, left abandoned. That's not right. It got opened up. I said, let's have a candlelight. The family, we all come together as one. So we won no matter what. Whatever way it comes, we won. We said, let's have a candlelight. As I continue to post, continue to go on live, it had to be over 500 people at that candlelight. And I mean, they came from all walks of the world. I'm from Polk County. I'm from there. Came down from Georgia, from here. And I was so shocked that these people want the #1 movement. I feel like there should be no room to go to the left, go to the right, talk about this one, talk about that one. You don't do that when you really stand in justice for Dro. God knows I appreciate, Natalie appreciates, she got dirt thrown in the face of we laughing at people. We created a post so positive. One person is not the only person talking about justice for Dro. So it shouldn't be nobody to feel like if anything is said, it's about them. We don't have time to address this and that and argue. Our main focus, light the city up. David Strong say, we don't want chaos. We don't want war. At the same time, it's justice for Dro. We can't be petty. We can't be ignorant. I'm not watching no comments in this video because I just want the mission to be understood. If you really standing to seek justice, if you really standing to support a family that's grieving. My brother went in a cave and backed up off everybody and said he didn't want to talk to nobody. He getting attacked because he ain't called you. He ain't picking up. He ain't doing this. He ain't doing that. Well, you can't please everybody. He's grieving. It's a family that's grieving. We're going to have our moments where we don't go. We're going to have our moments we want to fall back. We're going to have our moments we angry. We're going to have our moments where we crying. Nobody ain't in our shoes because that's all blood. When he used to come through my front door with my boys and whatever else, everything his family been through on a journey has been with T2 all his life. And I'm going to wrap it up to say this. I thank everybody because it's a lot of encouraging people. They say powder blue don't move. They say powder blue don't get distracted by the devil, the enemy. I ain't knocking nobody. We tried to thank people. We tried to this and that. And guess what? At this time, we're going to end it that way because enough is enough. We never laugh in nobody's face. All this trying to be this, that, other. We're not doing that. And we're not kissing no booty. So I'm going to make that clear right now. I did all explaining from the first video when I got accused of, oh, you said somebody lied. I never said that. You discredit somebody. You making me look bad. No, we're not doing that. I'm not here to argue. I don't got no point to prove. That was nephew. That was the Davis family bloodline. Thank you, Chanae Jackson. We never mentioned you, but you on board with the Davis family. Positive. You don't got time for mess. You don't got time for junk. You setting the record straight right out the gate. You here for a mission. The mission is justice for Dro. We thank you, as well as all you're doing to go the extra mile and don't have to be seen, don't have to be heard. Don't come out here to say what's going on when boots are really on the ground. My 43 emails is still in my email log of me sending since this movement started. It doesn't matter if you expose everything you do and every little thing. The main important thing, you guys helped us. We appreciate every single dime that was collected. We found out we needed a PI. That was from the beginning before we even knew. There was medical examiner. A week later, they would come back and say it's an accident. Then everybody say, now y'all need a lawyer. Did y'all get a lawyer? We was trying to hold off and say, hopefully we'll be to seal the deal with both. As Natalie do the research, Chanae stepped in and we got and it's coming together. And I said, hold up, maybe we will have everything to put the pieces together because now we got some horrible news that broke our family again. That examiner and cause of death, all of that just remained the same. So even with that being said, we're getting attacked on every hand. Y'all should have get a lawyer. You're foolish. You're stupid. You're dumb. What they say, respect is due to a dog. You don't talk to nobody in a kind of way like we children. We are adults. And I thank you. I'm giving too much energy to the wrong thing. So I'm going to say justice for Dro, David Strong. I thank you for coming on. And if you want to explain a little more for the people just jumping on here, just what basically for his attorney, private investigator or whatever you were saying. If you want to end with that, that's fine. But that's all.
Here's where I land. Polo laid out serious allegations. Lies about footage. Lies about money. Hush money. Family members telling people not to follow him. Those are heavy charges. The Davis family, through Channy, has now responded. They addressed the strategy. They addressed the timeline. They addressed the PI versus lawyer question. They addressed the traction claim. But did they directly refute every single allegation? Not really. They reframed the conversation. They shifted focus back to the mission. They made it clear they're not engaging in the back and forth. But that does not answer the questions on people's mind. And here's the hard truth. We cannot undermine what Polo has done for this case. He brought receipts. He put boots on the ground. He kept the pressure on when no one else would. That matters. But at the end of the day, this is the Davis family's case. They have the final say on what to do and what not to do. They get to choose their lawyer, their PI, their strategy. They get to decide how transparent to be. That's their right. If these two sides could just work together, imagine what they could accomplish. Imagine the pressure they could apply. Imagine the answers they could force out of a system that's counting on them to stay divided. And Dro is still dead. His kids are still waiting. And the truth is still buried somewhere under that bridge. Or will the drama continue until the case goes cold and everyone moves on to the next story? Tyrone Davis Jr. deserves better. His kids deserve better. And honestly, so do all of us who have been following this case, hoping for justice. Here's what I need from you. Demand answers. Demand transparency. Demand that GPD do its job. Demand that the real investigation gets completed. This is True Crime Unraveled. On YouTube, we're at True Crime Unraveled. On Facebook and TikTok, it's True Crime Unraveled TV. Follow us, subscribe, hit the bell, and keep this conversation alive. Drop your theories in the comments. And to our super thanks gifters, you are the reason we can keep digging. Thank you. Justice for Dro.
That's all.
But
I'm being very clear. I want to end with, I'm going to go through some comments. So I want to name A few things for people, and I stated that from the very beginning. The reason that we were going to do this is for the people who are on the journey, you were going to realize, and for people who are like Mesh, you were going to be able to navigate that. So a few things. One person stated that they felt like it was the mom's responsibility in order to share with you all everything that was happening. I'm actually not going to necessarily agree with that. And the reason that is, I deal with a lot of families that in some cases, and I'm not saying in this case, that the family member who's getting information don't fully understand everything. I navigate this a lot, and law enforcement or whatever entity I'm in, they actually weaponize that. The best way to do anything, and law enforcement had the opportunity to do that. We have Zoom now. They could have actually conveyed all of the information to everybody all at one time. Other things I see is people keep stating that as it relates to, they say Polo quit his job in order to do that. That was Polo's choice. I was a bank manager at SunTrust and Soul Real Estate before I became an organizer and an activist, and didn't have it figured out. That's not anything I told anybody, and that was not an expectation. That's something that I wanted to do. I see other people say as it relates to give flowers. So being a person, even too, as you all are explaining, there's 1,000 things that many people that do this work do. If you're doing it with the expectation of somebody always having to say this, that, and the other, don't do it. And I'm going to be clear with you. I named just a fraction of all the things that I've accomplished. And every day, somebody got an issue of what I said, how I said, and what I did it. Guess what? I do it anyway. Because that's the reason that you're supposed to do it. The fact that we're wasting energy. I see people stating, well, that's why we can't help our people. The purpose of helping is literally because you should want to. I have a friend that we're in a group chat, and she will state to you, she said, I don't know why this case is on, because she got a strong spirit of discernment. I know why. That this case is something that is so important to her. And she's in this phase in her life. Well, if it doesn't got nothing to do with her, she don't have anything to do with it. It's because this is one of those moments that you understand that there has been a significant injustice. And so that's what it actually needs to be about. And I need to state that. So even being a person, I don't want a hero cookie because I'm doing this free of charge, but that's what I signed up for. This notion, we get that a lot. And like I say, in this social media age where people are always upset about somebody got left out. Well, if you on my page and you don't interact this, that, and the other, this ain't that. And I think we have so much access to people that we don't realize that we learn different, we interact different. Somebody stated that Auntie Tasha's paying hush money. If she is, I'm looking at the person who would actually weaponize that. That would be the soul that I would have an issue with. Like the fact that you all are saying things and y'all don't realize that you would actually be the problem. To take advantage of any scenario when people are hurting. So when people are hurting and when they want answers and they need things, we do things actually out of desperation. I'm not even getting into whether it's true or not. I want to really point out how ridiculous that sounds. And I think that's the reason that I took the time to make sure that we sit and have this in order to center it. So when a lot of y'all think that you're saying things on, oh, I ate, you have not. And I want to be very clear with that. I want to state that this whole notion, that's why you can't do this and that with Black people, that's ridiculous. That's literally absurd. I also want to state, because I see you all say, well, oh, we got traction because of Polo. That's a lie. Because before Polo ever got involved, it was viral for all of us. That was the reason so many of us saw it. Auntie Tasha's first video that she actually did had hundreds of thousands of views.
2 million.
Yeah, so it went up to millions. So I want us, if we're going to tell the story, let's tell the whole story. And if we're going to tell the story, tell the truth. So I want to state that. But even outside of all of that, if we are here and pure of heart, none of that actually matters. And so I'm speaking very clearly because I stand on business. If anybody knows me, what the fuck anybody gonna do with me? And I want to state that. Even as you're stating this ain't a competition. This is about doing what's right. Nobody cares. Polo will still be talking trash, and we're going to get up tomorrow. We still going to have this meeting. We still going to get these records. We still going to have this PI. Like everything is, life is still going to go on. So the same way it was him going through it with somebody by him supposedly messing with punks. The same way it was, he said everybody left him when he went to jail. Like literally, he's the only nigga I know that every few months he's sassy as hell, and I don't normally call men sassy, that he got more energy than a woman. And I don't mean, because I hate to say that women, than a messy ass woman. It's just absurd. And for all of you that want to beat a dog and bring the bone and carry it, Chanae is saying this. The family ain't got to say anything. So I want to state this because you're just as fault as him. And instead of being true friends and telling him to go get some true mental health services, instead of being a true friend and say, fool, why would you quit your job? Because this is something that's going to end at a particular time, because he actually didn't quit his job to do this for the family. That's dumb. None of that makes sense. That's like me quitting my job tomorrow. That's like the family quitting their job. That don't make sense. Y'all carry stupidity, and we're not going to do that. There is no space for that. So what I want to state to you all is in this moment, while other people explain themselves, I don't. This is what we're doing. I do things in order. We're going to do things in order. We're not giving any more space to that. And I'm looking sideways at anybody that does. In this moment and in this movement, you're here because you understand the bigger picture. You're here because you want to right the injustice. You're here because you want to give answers to these kids and this family. Even as we're stating that the family going back and forth, that's normal in anybody, that even when people die natural causes. So let's not act like it's not. We're going to work through that. So whatever they got going on, we're going to work through it so they can be strong on the other side. Like, and they'll tell you when I talk to them, we're going to navigate that. We're going to find this out. If I have to be the liaison between mom and dad, I'm willing to do that. That's what we're going to do. Stop pointing out what's wrong. We're going to take what's right, and we're going to move forward in order to be able to get this done. With that, we're going to leave you all. Y'all can tell Polo, Chanae said it. Good night.
Good night.
Right.
All right, later.